Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. My goodness. Half a year is just about gone. Good morning, Ron. Hey, Nancy, Gavin, Thomas, Byron, Brett. Good morning, Mike, Chip, Al, Jason, Misha, Mike. How you guys doing? Long year. This year seems like it's just gone by super fast for me. I don't know why. It seems like it should be slow, but boring, but it hasn't been. Going fast. Well, it looks like the market is seeing some sellers here this morning. A couple places that I think might be important. Of course, I think these lows over here. What is this? June 2nd and June 1st. I think these lows might be kind of important. When the market moves down or up, it's just like climbing a tree. You really don't want to fall out of the tree. That's just going to hurt. So you want to climb down the tree one branch at a time. So this is the first branch that we need to hold on to, about this 406.60. If we can hold on to that branch, well, maybe we reach up and try to climb the next branch up, which I think the 50 period moving average is. I still think that's where we're kind of going here. I'm not super bear here right now. I'm not a super bull either. The next branch to the downside would be that 500 period moving average for me. That also coincides with this nasty little bear candle right here and a couple of touches in there. So it kind of makes sense to me, 500 period moving average. After that, to the downside, you know, there's a little support right here around 397.25. Of course, if we let go of these lows, which we're not there yet, so, you know, not too much reason to worry about it at this point. But then we have some downside. The next move to the downside, if we want to get really kind of ugly here, just glancing here at the daily chart, I'm going to go right to that moving average, which this is the 1,000 period moving average. And then we can look over here and see some possible support. I just don't know if that is worth support right there. I think a little lower. If we get that low, I think lower. Let's go to a weekly chart. Take a look at the weekly chart. And I'm going to get rid of all this. Whew, man, there we go. If you look at the weekly chart, there is nothing pretty about this chart at all. Pretty bearish, maybe. There you go. Yeah, it's pretty bearish. So longer term here, medium to longer term, I guess. I still see more downside. With that possibility of a little bit of a relief rally yet, I still see that. We are under the 50 period moving average. The 50 period moving average is starting to turn over here. Looking at the daily chart, the 200 period moving average is an extremely common area for price to go. Doesn't mean it has to stop there. It's just a destination. And then if we take a look at some price action here, right through here, around this 423, give or take a little bit, that might be the next side with even lower. I think if we start tapping on this, I think we tap lower, to tell you the truth. So nothing bullish about the weekly chart. The daily chart, possible relief rally still in effect. We're going to need the buyers to hold up here and show some interest. If they don't show interest, then not a lot to the long side. Okay, let's take a look at UVXY here, just an instrument I use for the VIX. I use this one rather than the VIX itself because I trade this from time to time, and it does the same thing. So are we trying to stamp in a little bit of a bottom here? We have an inverted hammer, a bearish engulf, with no follow through from the bearish engulf. The inverted hammer might be telegraphing that a bottom is trying to be put in. It doesn't mean it has to happen right away. It's just sort of a telegraphing candle. Then we have a doji here, and then we have another inverted hammer yesterday. So, like I said, are we trying to telegraph some kind of bottom? And the bottom can dip down a bit more. Inverted hammers aren't bottoms. They're kind of uh, telegraphing the possibility of a bottom is what they are. Um, and then this morning here we are popping up a little bit. Um, let's move this right in here. About right here, clear this doji up here, clear these highs over here, this high. This would put you above the trend indicator and tapping on the 50 period moving average. So above 1460 on UVXY would make me very concerned. Would not want to be in too many longs at all, unless they're the inverse ETS perhaps. And if we do move up on UVXY there, that's going to push the market down a little bit. FNGU, I think, is a very important chart. This chart carries all the big names, you know, the Apples, the Facebooks, Microsofts, Tesla, those sort of things, Google. These guys here, they mean something. And so keep an eye on this. If this starts to let loose right in through here, it just seems like a no-brainer to come back and retest this candle here. Of course, below that, well, now we start playing with these candles in here, and that could be a slip to the downside. So it's possible the relief rally is over. It's very possible. Could be just we're just a little dancing here yet. So caution today, a little bit of caution. I suspect the market's going to be just like it's been, choppy. Maybe better off to go water your yard in the rain. So with that said, let's look at a couple of charts here that I have. CC is still looking pretty bullish. This was posted to us in here in the room yesterday by somebody. I apologize, I forgot who it was. Nice chart, by the way. Beautiful looking chart. Trend is still there. Great consolidation. Right now, I see this moving higher, so a possible entry if you're looking for a long there. MO, Altara here, is looking more like a short, a blue eyes failure. To me, it looks like a very clear-cut top with follow through to the downside. The sellers, we've got this double bottom, and then the buyers tried to move up, but the sellers are just pushing it down. And under the 50 period moving average, the shape of this with the shape of the candlesticks right in here, it's just impossible to be bullish on this. The only way to be bullish is if we came back up, and I think we would have to get above 54.30. So anything below that, I'm looking at short on MO. Energy is still out there. Energy is still out there. So keep an eye on that if you're looking for some longs, some breakouts. Energy is still good. When you have candles like this right here, I feel that it's better to wait for a breakout than it is to fuss with anything in here. And I'm not sure that we have a conviction breakout yet. We did break out here on this candle. We did hold up yesterday. Let's see what today ends up doing. Valero is another one that I like, for moving higher if you're looking for energy chart. Procter & Gamble looks short here. Again, we've got this, what looks like a clear-cut top. The sellers took it down. Buyers tried to bring it back up. It looks like there's something about this whatever that is, 164 area that the buyers just kind of shy away from. And from here, we've just gone down, and there's just no reason to be a buyer. It's more like a short as long as that trend stays in place. What does that weekly look like? Yeah, look at that weekly here. Look at that blue ice failure on the weekly. So based on the weekly chart, we start breaking down through this area here. Uh, I would probably have to say the dotted deuce here is a good target area, puts you in good price. And then, of course, that puts you in range for the 200 period moving average. And that, what is that? 13%. Apple. So let's just start with the weekly here. Apple does not look bullish to me at all. We need it to be bullish. That we do need for the market to move up. Apple's one of these that can turn. It can turn pretty quick. It can, but until it does, it's not. So I look at Apple on the weekly here. We have a top. We have another top. We have actually a little lower. So we have a bearish M pattern here. Okay, didn't notice that earlier. So we have a bearish M pattern here on the weekly chart, and this point right here below that confirms the M pattern, and here we are. On the weekly, it's also bearish H pattern. It's also blue ice failure. What did Gregor say? Good morning, Gregor. Apple sucks. Yeah, what Gregor says. What Gregor says. So on the daily here, I still see more downside. We could get a little chop in here. It's very possible these lower candles here, this 500 period moving average, puts together buyers, but trying to assume that without it happening is dangerous. So let it prove itself. Also remember, let's don't lose track of what charts need to do in a downtrend to recover. It's not about one candle. It's not about a candle pattern, which that looks impressive right there. It does. That looks very impressive. What it's about is putting in this bottom, rallying, pulling back and testing, and rallying back up to this top. And this top is what I would call the top right here. So we need the tradable bottom is actually right in here, right there, not down here, which I know a lot of people are going to try to catch this. Heck, I might even try to catch it if the buyers start stepping in. But until then, I'm going to assume that's still a short, mainly based on that weekly chart, based on the weekly chart with a daily chart giving us that choppy back and forth movement. W here, while we're on the weekly, we'll just stay there. That still looks short to me. We're moving sideways, setting up for a flag in there, a bear flag. Here's the daily chart. We do have the low. So whenever we see a low and a high and a pullback, there's always that chance where we're going to put this line right in here. Let's see. We'll do this. We have the low. We have the high. There's always that chance we put a higher low in and then rally back above that high, which that would be the bullish tradable bottom. But until we get that, you have a short setup here until we get that. The trend is still down. Chart's still ugly. Walmart. This breaks my heart, but it is what it is. Look at the weekly chart on Walmart. Definitely room for bouncing around, but overall, that is a bearish chart, period. Look at that top right in here. Look at that nasty move to the downside, and it does not look like the bulls are being of any help right now. Is there the chance that we find a bottom in here and then scoot up a little bit? Of course there is. It's not a buy, though, until it takes out this high. Low, high, higher low, or double bottom. This becomes the tradable bottom. Until then, this is a short chart. So I'm going to go back to that weekly chart, kind of crunch this down a little bit, and just take a look at this chart. Look at price action. What do you see in here that is most impressive for stopping price? I'm going to have to say right here. We incorporate this, what is this, February highs. We incorporate this, what is that right there? August, right in here. You know, I'm going back 2018, there's 2019. We've got this little drop down in here. We pick up a few candles in there. So 106 is what I'm looking at Walmart, unless the bulls walk in and clean it up. But what in this market is suggesting that's going to happen? So trade cautiously, trade careful. Yeah, that's what we say every day here. It seems like a couple times a day, and that's where we are this morning on this Tuesday, June 7th. Is just trade a little cautious. Okay, be careful. All righty. Thanks everybody for listening in. I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. We'll see you back here in about 20 minutes or so, and see if we can put something together today. Thanks again.